Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am here with Micaela today. That's why I look a little bit uglier now. It's because I am next to her. So go to the tea plant. Go. Let's start this. The sun is almost falling down. We don't have much time, so let's do this. Of course, if you are wondering, stop! If you are wondering, this is the Shagoriane. No, it's the Tiguriane. And it's the only place in Europe that actually have tea, the plant tea. It grows here. So let's have some fun, shall we? O que nós vamos fazer primeiro é tirar várias fotos só com o drone e vê-lo a segurar na mão. Assim, dessa maneira, podes fazer várias poses, não estamos a gastar bateria de voo e é muito mais seguro para a gente. Se ele está muito baixo, pode ser um bocadinho perigoso.
Okay. Isso não é como o drone da Marinha Portuguesa.
Podes ficar mais de frente para mim, não há problema. Vai, e de repente até fica mais interessante, estás mesmo de costas.
Costas?
Sim. Não estiques muito o braço, mas um bocadinho tendido assim. So what is happening here, I am making a curved ball flight like this and taking pictures. So here it is a really simple flight plan. As you can see, the drone is making a curve and taking pictures at the same time. So we have different perspectives until we have down 90 degrees. Really simple. So everyone, here we are in the computer. I'm gonna just try to explain roughly how I edit the photos and how I blend them together. As you can see, we are here in Photoshop. I have the 9x16 version of this photo, and I also did 4x3, I guess, or Instagram friendly image. So let's go back to Bridge. Here we have all the pictures that we're gonna use. So here is the photo with the drone on my hand. Here is the first picture during the flight, the second, the third, the fourth picture, and the fifth picture. As you can see, the drone is getting higher and higher, and the camera is pointing closer and closer to perpendicular to the ground. As you can see by the file name, this is a DNG, so it's a raw file. And honestly, I did leave the drone fully automatically. Usually it's a better idea to take all of this manually, so all the settings will be the same. But if you didn't, you have to uniform all the colors and the exposure to match between all the photos. And to do that, let's select all of them and edit them in Camera Raw. Between all these images, the color are matching, but not from the original one, because I exported this one as just as a photo to send back to Micaela, and there is a lot of filters and stuff in here that we're gonna delete to get the most close as possible between other photos. For example, in here is some adjustments that I made that are different, so I have to synchronize everything with this image except of course of the exposure, because I guess the exposure it's close enough, but the colors and everything need to match. So let's select this picture, select this one, and let's sync settings, everything, and except exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, blacks, whites, texture, clarity, dehaze, vibrance, and saturation. So all of the rest I want to be crop and spot removal. I didn't use it, but everything about of colors and stuff like that, I want to synchronize everything with this picture. And let's press OK. And as you can see, the green, it's a little bit greenish, but Still, this area here doesn't have the right exposure. As you can see, this is a little bit darker, this green, so let's boost up a little bit the exposure on this bad boy. Visibly, it's much closer. So let's open this image on Photoshop. The only image that I have selected is the first one, and I don't want really to open image. I want to, if I press Shift on the keyboard, open object. We're gonna see what this is in a bit. So let's just open as an object. Photoshop will do its thing, and here we have it. So as you can see, this layer, it's as a smart object. And the cool thing about this, if I want to go back to edit the raw image, I just double click on it and boom, I am back on Camera Raw to re-edit this image. How nice is that? Let's open the other image from Bridge, the flying image, and let's import them in Photoshop. So this is a bit annoying. I have to accept the modifications on Camera Raw and confirm the position. Just to be faster, I'm gonna click enter. Okay. So I have to rename all these images. So the main image, the background image, let's call Micaela, the name of the model. If I press in this eye icon Alt, it hides all the other layers and just show this one. So this is Micaela. So this is the first picture. So let's just call it 1. This one is the second picture. Let's call it 2. Now, what I want to do is duplicate this layer, the Micaela layer. And to do that, I'm just going to press Ctrl G on the keyboard with the layer selected. Here we have a copy, and let's put it up, and let's just mask Micaela over here. And I'm gonna do just a really quick selection. Photoshop now has this select subject. I don't know how effective it is, and it's roughly good. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit and let's add the hat over here a little bit. And of course, to make a selection and make masks, you really need to be more precise than I am doing over here. This is just as an example, so it's good enough. If I press now in the mask icon, boom, there is a mask. Only with Micaela over here. This is really rough. You need to take a special attention doing this this selection, this mask. To show you a cool thing, you can double click on the mask itself. It enters to editing mask mode. That is a really cool one. Let's select the hair, for example. Let's make a feather mask like so. Just for this tutorial, I'm gonna be a little bit rough. So let's activate the background layer and let's activate this layer over here. So let me just zoom out, and as you can see, let's try to align all the layers. But to do that, I need some space to work. So let's zoom out a little bit more and let's just get us a little bit of space. Something like this will be good enough. And let's try to align all the layers. So this one will be roughly here. The second layer, let me just select the second layer, will be roughly over here. So I want to get some space to work here. So it doesn't need to be extremely precise, but give yourself a little bit of margin to work. The third picture. We have a rough idea how this gonna mix between each other. Now let's try to align all these pictures a little bit better. Okay, let's select the first picture, right click, number 1. First of all, let's try to just align the first picture with the background picture. Ctrl T. So here is the transforming tools. It's a little bit limited because you are editing a smart object, but it's okay. Right click and let's select warp. And this thing, it's awesome. So let me just warp the image to be a bit aligned, like so. and it's starting to correct the perspective and give it a little bit of a curve to all the image. So I'm gonna do one by one all the pictures like so. Let's press enter and let's go to the second one and repeat this process again. I'm gonna just fast forward all of this so you guys won't stand here looking at me doing this. And there we go, roughly the images are aligned. As you can see, there is a bit of a problem over here. The layers is not matching because this is handmade columns of tea plant, so it's not 100% aligned or perfect, but we have to correct this in Photoshop. So to correct this, let me see which one I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use the 5th layer or the 4th layer. I guess it will be easier to use the 4th layer. Let's select it. Okay, right click to select, and let's use a really cool filter called lookalike. Here we have the problem over here, and if you don't have the show the backdrop, you can just press on here to show up the other layers, just because it's easier. We want to align this, so we need to show the background, and let's zoom in on the problematic area and just let's push the pixels around to match with what we are doing here. Here we go. Try to match a little bit of a really good area. Let me just check out how is my work. It's going on here. Here it's way better, but still there is some problem over there on this end. So I guess I'm gonna try to use the layer number 5 and try to use the same filter. Don't click on the top because it will apply the same thing that you did on the layer number 4. You don't want that. You want to start from scratch. Here we have it, and Z to zoom in, and let's zoom in on the problematic area. Here we have the unalignment over here, and let's try just to match here better. So I am doing this way too rough. You need to spend your time just to be faster. Let's leave it just like that because still it needs some work over there. Now we need to blend all the layers together, and to do that we're gonna use some masks. I'm gonna start from the bottom again. Let me just zoom in and fill the screen with this, and here is the first layer. Let's make a mask. Press B to select the brush tool, and let's use the color black. If you want to change between black and white, it's just press X on keyboard. As you can see, the colors change, and black will pass through and the white will block. So if I use black, you can see that I can recover the background, okay? And if I use white, it will block the view. Okay, so with this tool and with the hardness going way back to 0, let's smooth out here. So I want to recover a little bit Micaela over here, and let's just smoothly paint here. As you can see, we are starting to see the other line over there. I don't want that, so let me just cover that up. Okay, nice. Let's go again to layer number 2. Again, do a mask, and let's do this all over again. So, nice. So just a small detail over here. Now, if I want to reuse the lookalike tool again, take a special attention. Don't select the mask, but select the image, the smart image itself. And you can really easily double click on the lookalike tool. And let's just zoom in on the problematic area again. A better alignment. So again, I am doing this really roughly. You need to take your time. Let's fit on screen. And here we have a really nice roughly, but a really smooth transition between all the layers. Now, if you are obsessed like me on details, you want to make some clone tool work, and to do that, what I usually do is I select the top layer, not the Micaela layer over here, but the top layer that I want to work with the T, and I'm gonna do a Ctrl-Shift-N, and I'm gonna do a new layer that I'm gonna call it clone, okay? And now in this layer, I'm gonna use the clone tool. I'm gonna just press S to use the clone tool. As you can see, the clone tool is selected. And for example, I want to do some work over here. Okay, let me just zoom in. Very important with the clone tool, you have to select current and below. So it will accept all the layers below the selected one. And for example, I'm gonna use a sample from here and start to paint from here. Of course, I can use a bigger area like so and try to smoothly try to link better all the layers like so. With the clone tool, take your time to do it properly, okay? After you are done, you want to compress this, of course. There is a lot of ways to compress this a little bit down, but the one that I'm gonna use is this one. So I'm gonna select the clone layer, the top layer, up here to this one, and I'm gonna group this, and let's call this original images, okay? Because they are the raw files it's on them, and I'm gonna make everything invisible like so. And oh, there is a small problem over here. There is a mask screwing this up, so I need to get the mask and recover this one. Okay, nothing happened. So now I want to compress all of this in one image so I can play with the proportions easier. So to do that, I'm gonna select the top layer, the top visible layer, okay? That is the group over there. And let's use the shortcut Ctrl-Shift-Alt-E. And here we have our layer. So let's call this original. So this is the compression of all these layers over here. I'm gonna make this group invisible, and let's recover the Micaela on the background and in the top over there. And now I can play with the proportion of this image really easily. The simplest way is actually just use the Ctrl-T and just push it down. As you can see, Photoshop, this is the most recent Photoshop, and let's try to get the proportions right. If I don't want that is the case, I have to press Shift, and here we go. It's not respecting the proportions. Here we go, and press Enter to accept the modifications. Or if you want, let me just do Ctrl-Z. You can use a really cool skill tool that is content aware skill tool. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't really work properly. On this case, let me just check out. As you can see, it's trying to compress, trying to respect a little bit the proportions over there. As you can see, it's like a sponge on the top. Not exactly what I want. Ctrl-Z. Let's try from the bottom now. It's doing roughly the same thing. If you want to get a smooth transformation like this, you can use this tool, but honestly, the traditional Ctrl-T, it's good enough for me. So no, cancel. I don't want to apply this tool. Cancel! So let's go just use the traditional Ctrl-T transform tool and something like this. It's good enough. And let's just crop unnecessary area right now, like so, and from the bottom as well. Boom, here we have it. Good idea in the end is actually add some adjustment layers so the image will blend even better together. Just play a little bit with this, just to give you... Okay, this is green, it should be green. Just play a little bit with the adjustments to... I want to give the idea that it's this image on the top over here, it's further away. A good idea is push a little bit to the blue, and let's make just the mask a little bit smooth like so. No, I don't want like this, As you can see, it's a little bit yellowish when it's closer and a little bit bluish on the back. When you know how, it's really basically and really simple. So again, take your time, there is a lot of mistakes over here, so take your time doing all of this. Well then, I want to give a special thank you to Micaela to venture herself with this project. Also, the young boy that filmed this episode. It was really great to work with both of them. Unfortunately, at night we had another project, but it was almost like a Murphy's Law type of project. We didn't get the best, we didn't get what we want. As you can see by the drone images here next to the sea, you can see that there is a lot of noise on the image. It was getting too late to do anything, but yeah, this is another project for another for another day. So if you want to find out more work from the talent from Micaela, the best place I guess is her Instagram. I leave the link on the description down below. Also down below there is the comments, so leave a comment if you have any questions, drop a like if you learned something, and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. I am Miguel, until next time, see ya.